Hey guys, so this is week D of our dev log for Snailiens.
Correct again.
Um, what have we been doing this week? For starters,
Lots
we
of
got some
stuff.
sleep.
Well,
We
a
got
little
some
bit, little
sleep.
bit of sleep.
Some,
Little-
we got an okay. We got like a couple
he keeps
days.
waking me up every morning. Really
I'm not sure they can hear you on the mic, but
I think they can.
anyway, so we're still hard at work. We've been actually working on a lot of stuff. I've actually been surprised how quickly it's been
Yeah.
coming together.
Assets are always the fast part.
Yeah. They're also fun too, because you get to see
Yeah.
like a lot of stuff happen all at
It's
once.
like, oh, I drew a thing. Oh, I modeled a thing. Oh, I textured a thing. Done. Looks pretty. All done. It's like a day. And it's like, wow,
So-
that was a lot of things. Really short amount of time.
Yeah. So we've been working on. I guess the first thing is we started with a new tile system.
Yeah.
So one of the big issues that we were having with interior levels is designing a level in such a way that it's modular enough that we can create lots of levels very easily, very quickly.
All the interior stuff we were doing before was really inflexible. You guys probably have noticed the interior convention hall is probably, I think, the only indoor level in the entire game. And the lighting in there is a bit off, and the textures on the walls there are a bit off, and it all would have been better, like...
The whole thing is just kind of not great. So
it would have been better if we had some sort of modular systems, like, so that the texture registration could have been smoother, and, like...
So we spent, what would you say, a day and a half just perfecting that and getting it exactly
Took
right.
a few passes to get the scaling right and get the unwrap, like, just right on the wall, so that, like, things tile right.
I haven't actually gone and used it because we've been so busy with asset creation.
And then we immediately went over to working on the environment stuff.
When we tested it, right?
Yeah, it behaves. It behaves.
Yeah,
it works.
Snaps right together like Legos. We should be able to build lots of levels with that.
We can keep
it's gonna be cool. What else? We've been working on some weapons.
Yeah.
I concepted some weapons this week.
Concepted some weapons. We've been fiddling a little with the melee weapons. I don't know if you guys saw the GIF. There's a GIF out there somewhere.
We can probably post it below. But it's so one of the big asks for our playtesters was hey, you have this VR and you've got all these, you're tracking hands, why can't we have hammers or swords or something like that?
Melee stuff.
Like close range stuff. So we're working on throwing that in, and it's going well-ish.
Yeah.
We've got some finalized concept for the weapons. We just have to model it out.
They're still not modeled. If you guys are looking at the GIF and saying like, "Oh, that's what the hammer looks," that's not what the hammer looks like.
Yeah,
that's basic
that
cubes. Those are just in-engine cubes. Like,
but mechanically, we got some interesting stuff happening.
Yeah.
They're gonna have some cool abilities attached to them, so it's not just gonna be whack stuff. They're gonna have some cool stuff.
Yeah.
We're building out, I guess, more weapons that have utility.
Yeah.
And
less you just point at the thing and you fire and damage is done and the flavor of damage is based on the weapon. It's not like, I'm doing energy damage, I'm doing physical
Which is
damage.
cool, but we realized that, like, variety is the spice of life, and we need more mechanically different weapons. So, I guess the first one that you'll probably see is going to be the sticky situation.
Yeah. It's kind of like a
chameleon.
A chameleon.
A chameleon.
A chameleon. This video is way less interesting than I thought it would be.
Yeah. So, it's going to be a chameleon that, you point, it shoots out something like Blitzcrank or Roadhog in Overwatch, something like that, and grabs him and pulls him towards you.
Yeah.
Then you'll have melee weapons now, so you'll have something to close the distance and something to whack it with.
No.
Which should be fun. So you'll see more weapon combos and interactions.
Yeah, beyond just numerical interactions. Because like already, you hit him with that thing, thing does more damage.
Yeah.
But also, you pull him in and then use a shotgun. Like stuff that just is intrinsic, that is less like min-max mathy kind of interactions.
Yeah. So that's in the weapon front. That's going in as we speak. Enemies. So one of the big things that we talked about, and this is kind of I don't want to call it an artifact of early development, but the Snailiens, the only enemy that we have in the game right now, is really high bone.
Yeah.
And just kind of
we wanted
relatively
animation
inefficient.
And that's the issue with tentacles, of course. Like you got like little tentacles, like unless
they're not like human legs.
Because you get an arm, it's like, oh, you just bone. Like I'm an arm. It's like tentacle, you don't want to see it jointing. It's like you put like a million goddamn bones in it to like get it to, and now you're wasting all your performance on the tentacles.
So I mean, it's not a lot of performance.
A little bit.
Profiling has helped us kind of figure out where we can get away with stuff, but what we really want to do is move away from only being limited to, say, like 30 or 40 enemies on the screen and putting in hundreds of enemies on the screen. So the first step in that is this enemy, the base snail and kind of the special snails are going to be moved to a more like, they will be the specialty thing in coming levels, and you're going to see a lot of smaller enemies. Yeah. That kind of fill out the ranks.
The snails kind of become like the medium size, like
the stuff that you kind of want to look at. So that'll add to kind of the difficulty and the chaotic nature of the game. We're gonna start out probably with all the retro snail stuff. So we're starting you out in arcades in Japan, and so one of your first enemies that you're gonna see is an arcade type Snailien, or like a retro arcade Snailien.
Kind of like a otaku nerd, like Japan thing.
Exactly.
Like.
And so he's actually going to, his ability is going to be he spawns little enemies, and that will be your first introduction to these smaller enemies. So that's going to be cool. And we've got plenty of special snails. We got ninja snails and some other Japanese related snails. We've got so many snails down the pipe for later things that, God, we wish we could put in now, but they don't really make sense with the environments we're making.
One chunk of content at a time.
Yeah. So we've got a list and some concept for lots of stuff, and that's going to be really cool. And I think you guys are going to like that. Environments. This week we did the arcade.
Yes. Yeah. No.
I think the arcade is almost done.
Well, we gotta done. We finished all the assets that we did concepts for. They go in now, and we we set it up, and we're like, is there enough stuff in here? Like, what else do we need? Like, that's where I was.
Is it detailed? Is it visually interesting enough?
The garden stuff,
I think we're gonna be
is also almost done. I was in the middle of modeling one of the last things here when we started this.
Yeah. So once you get out of the city and the arcades, you're gonna move to like gardens and temples and more like traditional Japanese, like very like iconic stuff. And
kind of pretty landscape.
That stuff is coming in, and it's I think it's looking pretty good. So all that stuff's getting texture on it now. It's been modeled. I've got to do some environmental texture stuff, but other than that, we are very close to building out the levels that we had planned for Japan, which will bring us very close to being done with Japan.
Yeah. That's kind of
patches. So we've got, I guess we've got one patch this week going out. Once again, it's more quality of life patch than content. So we had a couple people talk to us and tell us, I guess they were having a problem with Snailien AI pathing. Yeah. If you recall, the pathing nodes actually are slightly larger. Or slightly smaller than the actual snails.
That's the thing we fixed. Yeah.
And so we fixed an AI bug where if you were mathematically perfect and you got two walls just right, the navigation would tell you that they could get through, but then they actually wouldn't be able to get through. And then you could break it. So
it was a difference of about like 1.5 centimeters, but
you really had to try to do it.
That's fixed now.
But we fixed that up, make that a little tighter. We got some reports of tutorial screens appearing when they're not supposed to appear, for like if you went out of order and you somehow managed to proceed without getting through all the tutorial. Occasionally there was one or two that would come back erratically, and we've just nailed those down so that if you pass through it and you never really saw it because you've already done it, it won't appear anymore. So that should just help with just clutter in your face. What else? Double screen selection and double wall building and stuff.
Yeah, no,
there was a rice condition with walls, so you could build
condition.
a rice condition.
Dude, there was an issue where with some hardware, some of the hardware that's out there, specifically stuff like the Hydra and stuff, that when you give it an input command, it kind of, some of them double pumps it faster than a human can do it. But if you have a piece of hardware that's firing it like twice in a frame, it was breaking things. That's locked now, so like you can't your stuff can't break the thing anymore. Like,
a huge quality of life thing was we started hearing back from people and we started watching like Let's Plays and stuff of our game, and a lot of people really like to stream the tutorial, which is a weird one because it's not really the game, it's just the tutorial.
It's probably the least interesting part of the game, but it's the very first thing.
And it's definitely the least interesting.
If you sit down and like are like, all right, I'm going to stream this game, you start from the beginning. That's what people are doing, and the tutorial lasts for a while.
So one of our expectations was the tutorial should only take you about 10 minutes or less. And it's taking about double that right now.
Yeah.
Artificially. So what we've done is we've cut down a bunch of extra stuff to streamline it and make it a lot faster for people. Which will get you into seeing new types of snails and getting new weapons and getting new towers and seeing the combo system working a lot faster. Without kind of muddling the onboarding process of tutorializing you with the controls.
We were trying to be very cautious with like only giving you a little bit of information, then having you play like for a little while, like let that kind of sink, and then giving you a little bit of information, because we were having an issue with the explaining, but it's possible we may have gone a little overboard.
Well, it comes down to there's two different people. There's people who own a Vive, and there's people who don't own a Vive, and the people who don't own a Vive have no clue how to use the controls, and the people with a Vive intuitively get it after even owning it for a week.
Yeah.
So you run into a weird situation where you can't take the controls for granted, because if you get people who are buying this game as their first game, they won't understand it.
Or coming in to test the game and have never touched a Vive before, like all of our testers.
Which is all of our testers, because Vives are so rare.
Yeah.
So, for people who were skilled at the Vive and understood it, it was way too slow. For people who were very, very new, it was probably a little slow to about the right pace. And so we're just going to raise everything up a little bit and just kind of increase the pace there.
Yeah.
You shouldn't notice anything but, oh, hey, this is actually a lot better, and, it's maybe a little bit more difficult, so it's not just trivialized content anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, if you still have a save game and you want to just keep playing, it's not going to reset anything. You won't even notice unless you go back and play it. So that's this week's patch going out, 0.7.3.7.2.
Mm-hmm.
It might be .3, I'm not sure.
Little numbers
we're
dealing with now.
Yeah, it's just quality of life stuff. So what are we working on this week? Weapons, modeling, and rigging. So we've got final concept for about 4 weapons.
Yeah.
Which is about half what you're going to see in Japan. And I think we're modeling those today into tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then they'll get rigged for animation, like reloads and stuff like that. And they'll get sent over to me. Towers. One of the big things with towers is they're kind of been forgotten by us for a little bit. We've been so focused on other stuff.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. There was one tower that didn't quite make it into the game that I think
it had difficult animations and modeling and unwrapping and texturing and stuff like that and behavior. So it didn't quite make it. So you're going to see the Venus snail trap come in for Japan in the garden levels.
Yeah, that just kind of makes sense. 1, because it kind of looks like a piranha plant from Mario, and 2, because
it's going to look really cool.
It's in a garden, but...
I think across the board, one of the nice things about launching finally is we have a minute to take a breath, and when you're able to spend a little bit more time and you're not rushing, just crank stuff out and get it done, you can take more time to think a little harder about the stuff you're doing. And I think across the board, all of our stuff is way more creative now than it was.
Yeah. No, like comparing, things like the sticky situation of the slag shot to things like the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
The generic,
massively more interesting
chain
weapons.
gun.
They're going to be mechanically much more interesting to wield. They're going to look a lot better. I think across the board, they're just more creative. So I'm really excited to see people get in there and use those weapons and towers. I think we've got one other one that we're working with right now, and then I've got a concept more, and you'll probably hear about it next week. But the Spore Loser.
Spore Loser,
which is a poison type tower, which we don't have a poison type tower yet.
No, we don't.
So I'll let you guys kind of figure out what that is on your own. You'll probably see concept next week maybe for it. But there's kind of towers that you can expect. Environment. So I need to start making tileable textures.
Yes, for the walls and the floors.
So that's the last
system
step.
now.
So we have all the props built out, and we have the tile system built out, but I actually need to go in and make perfectly tileables that are, rice paper and arcade carpet with like the black light emissive kind of glowy bits on it.
Like that 90s arcade swirl that they all had, like that really gross, like blue and red thing.
For my arcades always had like the stars and like the universes and like the planets and stuff that like glowed with the black light.
You went to cooler arcades,
I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so that's what we're working on. That's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
Getting at least the arcade stuff in so that we get the white of the canvas scrubbed off and we can actually see it for what it is, and then we'll reassess if it's to the quality that we want it to be, which I think it will be. I'm really excited about that.
The test screenshots you've been making
we're actually I'm going to post
very
a couple
nice.
of test screenshots below, so you'll be able to see not the environments but all the props, so all the machines, skee ball machines and arcade machines and stuff like that.
Machines.
It's not final art, but it's about finalized. It gives you a good sense of what it's going to look like. What are you working on?
I am just finishing up the garden models before I move on to all the weapons, and there's going to be a good number of weapons.
Yeah,
between the melee stuff, the hammer, the sword, the sticky situation, the slag shot,
the cryo. I guess it's the cryo hammer.
The hammer is like a cryo hammer.
It's like a frost-based weapon. That one's going to be really cool because you're going to be able to freeze enemies with it into ice blocks.
Kinda.
Yeah. So you're working on that. What else are you going to work on this week? What's the plan?
We got towers still.
I guess you're still just modeling assets.
It's gonna be a bit of a
model rig and
animation.
All right. So that's it for this week. That's what we're up to. Thanks for everyone who's bought the game and is playing. We're getting great feedback from people. If you have feedback, please let us know, because we can absolutely make big changes still if we need to.
Yeah.
Especially if people aren't enjoying it as much as we want them to. So that's going in. We're still excited for some stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we can't talk about, but we're working on behind the scenes. That's going to be super cool, and we'll announce later. So stay tuned. You can contact us at info@562interactive.com, media@562interactive.com. So those two are for if you need to contact us about anything, not necessarily game support related. And then if you have any problems with the game, or you have a critique of the game, or you'd like to voice your opinion on something, you can contact support@562interactive.com.
And I get those.
And Will get those.
To fix,
and then
he will let
your
us bugs.
We're still getting those, and the bugs that people are finding are still good. I'm actually
little bugs most of the time. They're
very surprised that we haven't found any catastrophic stuff. I fully anticipated a train wreck at launch.
There was about a 2-month span that we couldn't
test
even test the game because it would immediately cataclysmically break.
Yeah.
And we kind of got all those hammered out. It's like, we think we got them all. We always think we've got them all. Yeah. It's like we launch and it's like, okay, people are going to find more cataclysmic bugs. We're going to have to fix them. hasn't been any big bugs. Has airtight guys like it's like
good
oh
job,
like
us.
the volume on this is like a little bit too high.
First
Like
time.
there's this one like little fringe case has like this one little quirk that doesn't really break anything, but it's just kind of weird. Like those like oh
it's a lot of just tightening up the ship.
Yeah.
Making sure there's no little leaks everywhere. But yeah, I think gameplay is going to get a lot more interesting very quickly here.
With the new variable sized enemies, the new weapons, the new environments. Like the game's about to get just like twice as big. Just like.
Plus, I'm really interested in levels that you have to traverse.
Yeah, no, those
are going to be really interesting. So you're no longer you're going to have levels that are just stand in this area and defend it. Yeah. But you're also going to be able to traverse like actual levels, and that's going to be pretty cool. We're excited about that.
Moving cores and stuff. It's a whole system that we're working on. But
yep. That we may actually touch that this week for testing.
Yeah.
Because we got to start to get that in.
Because that goes in with Japan.
Because we've got T-minus about 4 weeks. That's kind of our target. We'll probably miss it until Japan content goes out. Okay. We'll probably miss it, but it's important to make goals.
We got time. That's an eternity.
Yeah, well.
We always think it's an eternity.
Such is the life of a developer. All right, so thanks for watching. See you next week at Wednesday. I think we're going to do these on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesdays are good.
Cool. And they just keep getting longer, even though I keep trying to make it more concise. We just keep droning on about our game.
Mm-hmm. I'll put concept in front of stuff. I'll cut it on the video.
Yeah, we'll leave concept everywhere. Well, just a smattering of concept for you.
So it's not as boring.
All right. I hope everyone has a good day. We're signing out. See ya.